Hello there, good afternoon, and welcome to Claret and Booze. My name's Virgil, and I'm having a rank. I've gone live because I've had a bit of a mad weekend, really. I've had a few arguments with you know who over the whole situation after the Fulham game. So I want to touch on the Fulham game. I just want to talk about obviously going forward, where we're at with a striker situation, and just a bit of a brief overview, really. So thanks for watching first and foremost. If you like what you see, then please hit the like button. And if you haven't already subscribed, then why not? Just hurry up and do so. So here I am. I'm in. I'm just off of Old Street. I'm at the Montcalm East Hotel on Britannia Walk. I've turned my light off just in case somebody wants to get a job to Heathrow. But I'm having a bit of a break, so I thought I'd come live and have a chat with you guys. So if you can hear me, give me the thumbs up. It all looks good, but just to let me know, that'd be great. Yeah. Okay. Right. So here we are. Where are we? 48 hours or less than 48 hours after the Fulham game. And ultimately, what I've taken from the Fulham game, in my opinion, is that we have got some very, very fickle fans. Now, hear me out here. I've left WhatsApp groups this weekend, as people can adhere to and agree with, because I cannot believe that after what is it, 4 games, 360 minutes of Premier League football, people are suggesting that Lopetegui needs to go or questioning his capabilities. Now, I'm in agreement that when I saw the starting lineup against Fulham, I was a bit pissed off, basically. Okay, I'm not going to lie. So I agree with your judgment of the starting lineup, which is pretty much the same as my judgment of the starting lineup. I wasn't happy with it. But at the end of the day, this is where I keep going with this. Lopetegui has got a good reputation, whether you want to believe it or not, right? Lopetegui has a good reputation. People are coming out with he's tactically inept. People are coming out with he don't know what he's doing. We've applauded him this season thus far for making far more braver decisions than our predecessor ever did. Substituting people who aren't playing well, don't matter who they are. He's brought them off. He's made relevant changes. We've brought on subs earlier than ever. We've had people warming up. So let's give the man a fucking chance, eh? Like I said, please don't think that this is me for 1 minute suggesting I was happy with seeing Soucek and seeing Antonio starting against Fulham. I wasn't at all. But I'm not going to be going on social media. I'm not going to be going on WhatsApp groups after 4 Premier League games and suggesting the fella needs to go. Like I've said numerous times, and I'm sort of sick of repeating myself, he is a step up from what we've had before. He is, whether you like it or not. It doesn't necessarily mean he's going to succeed, however. And yes, you could say that he's hampering himself by starting the two players that I've mentioned. And you're possibly right. However, you have to give the man a chance. Yeah? It's a new club. It's a new ethos for many of the players. And it will take time. And I know time in modern football is not a word that people like to hear bandied about. But you need it. And it will take time. The Fulham game was abysmal, right? There's no two ways about it. I'm sure everyone's sick of talking about it, and I'm not here to review the game because it was absolutely piss poor. I'm not going to lie. We got away with one there, all right? And the biggest problems were through the middle, centre mid, centre forward. Yes, they were. Absolutely no getting away from it, all right? But to be calling Lopetegui, to be calling for his head, and I know people will say, oh, it's tongue in cheek, but a lot of people, it's not tongue in cheek. You're already questioning the man. Now, I'm not saying in time I won't question him, but at this early stage, in my opinion, right, I'm not judging you if you are calling for his head, but in my opinion, it's absolutely ridiculous. You can question his decisions. You can question his starting lineups. Of course you can. I do, and I agree. But to be calling for his head already, I think is ridiculous. And I know we're all football fans. We're all impatient. We want the best for our club. Of course we do. We've called for change, but sometimes change takes a little bit of time. We are already, in the main, playing slightly better football. We are having more possession. But I agree, continuously starting Antonio and bringing Souček back in against Fulham was a poor decision. Why he did it, I don't know. Will we ever know the truth? I don't know either. And I don't think Lopetegui is the sort of man who really will look. I don't think he'll want to explain himself to us fans, whether we like it or not. I just imagine he's the sort of personality who will stick by his decisions and won't think he has to offer any explanation. So, you know, it is what it is. Now, obviously, at the weekend coming, 12:30 kick-off the London Stadium, we've got Chelsea. Big London derby, right? And again, I'm in agreement. If I see Antonio and Souček in the starting lineup for that game, I'm going to be annoyed. Of course I will. Absolutely annoyed, right? So for me, he needs to make those changes and stick with it. Sitting here now, right, and it pains me to say it, because I've stuck up for him for years, and he is our all-time Premier League goal scorer. I know people don't like me throwing that out there, but it's true. Antonio needs to be rotated. Let's not call it dropped. It's a squad now. It's a squad game. Let's make it sound nice. Antonio needs to be rotated. All right? And Souček needs to be binned 100%. You know, we've got too many good midfielders, too many quality midfielders to still have him playing, starting, throw him on at the end, 10 minutes, chasing a goal, fair enough, but not starting. Yeah, he's slowing everything down. So when you've got the spine of the team, i.e. centre-back, centre-mid, centre-forward, and 2/3 of it are totally inept, you're going to have these problems, right? And I just hope Lopetegui, decides against starting either of those two at the weekend. We were fucking lucky against Fulham, but I'll take it. You know, a point's a point. It's not to be laughed at. And I know people don't like that either. And yes, I agree with the players we have available, with the players we have, available to be picked and put into the starting lineup. We should be possibly taking the game to teams like Fulham. Most definitely, I agree. But for whatever reason, he didn't. I don't know. I don't know at all. I know there's loads of comments coming in. I'm going to go through comments when I've finished what I've got to say, really, and I'll respond to some of them as and when I can. Obviously, for me, Antonio's time as a starting striker at the club are done. And Luigi, who co-hosts Claret and Boo Extra Time with Sam on WhatsApp earlier, made a great point. And it's pretty obvious, but it's a great point. Since Fulkrug's come in, you know, a big name, big signing by our standards, 27 million or whatever it was, Antonio hasn't upped his game at all. It hasn't given him, you know, the kick up the arse, seemingly. It hasn't given him the, you know, looking over his shoulder, I better start performing scenario. And I think that's purely because I think Antonio's shot to pieces. I think his legs have gone. I don't think he can do anywhere near what he did. And he does have to be that impact striker now. He does most definitely have to be that impact player coming off the bench last 10 minutes for me, last 15, 10 minutes, whatever. And it's a shame. But everyone's career, everyone's time at a club comes to an end. You can't just keep continuously picking him and hoping for the best. But what do? Fulkrug's out. I don't know how long for, maybe a month, I believe, 4, 5, 6 weeks, something like that. So for me, if you want to play an orthodox number 9 and you got a choice, straight shootout between Antonio and Ings, for me, it's Ings all day long. And a lot of people are calling Ings a flop. But what are we judging Ings? What are we judging Ings on? We're judging Ings on a time at the club where we bought him from Aston Villa, who didn't see that he could play the lone role, which he can't. West Ham United decided to buy him. Moyes brought him in, who played that solitary striker with no support. Ings can't do that role. But now, with Lopetegui, with a more possession-based game and support, I think Ings is the only viable option at the moment. I think that if you're looking for somebody who can put chances away, it's Danny Ings. And people are going to go, well, what chances has he taken? He ain't scored any goals for us. But you tell me, how many times have you seen Danny Ings fluff these lines for West Ham? I can't remember ever looking at Danny Ings going, oh my God, how did he miss that? You know why? Because he hasn't had any fucking chances. He's hardly played. He's played in a system where he was devoid of any creativity and chances. He plays in a system where he had no support under Moyes. So we've really not seen the best of Ings. And it's a shame because he's got 70 odd Premier League goals in his career. Now, you may think that doesn't sound a lot, but he's got 73 goals in 228 games or something like that. I looked earlier. So roughly 1 in 3. And when you think about it, he's been with us for what? 18 months. He played 30 games last season and amassed about 700 minutes of football. He's had a waste of 18 months with us. He had a waste of his last 6 months at Villa. So almost 2 years, he hasn't really had a sniff. So for me, he's a proven goal scorer. If he would have been used in the right system or been at a club that played to his abilities when he was at Villa, when he came to us, he would have most definitely now been in the 100 club. He would have been in the esteemed 100 club, which is a hard club to be part of, let me tell you that. And he's on 73 goals, and he's had a waste of the last 2 years of his career. So for me, if Lopetegui wants to persist with the orthodox number 9, it has to be Ings over Antonio. It has to be Ings over Antonio, right? It's very easy for us as fans to call someone a flop. We have to look at the bigger picture. Danny Ings, yes, statistically has been a flop at our club. But look at it from a game by game, season by season perspective. He has not been given a chance. And this is not a knee-jerk reaction by me, by the way. I'm not just saying this because he scored against Fulham. If you go back over time, I've said he needs to be given a chance. He is a proven goal scorer. I just think it's, the answer could be looking us square in the face. Not my square face, but, square in the face. Don't take the piss. He's a proven goal scorer. There's no doubt about it. 1 in 3. 1 in 3. And he's wasted the last 2 years at West Ham and Villa. Let's be honest about it. So, Antonio or Ings, for me, at the moment, I love you, Mickey. He's just not doing it at the minute. I think your time's done as a starter. And for me, it has to be Ings. However, I don't think Loppe will do that. I think Loppe will probably more than likely play with a false 9, maybe Bowen up top, maybe Kudus up top. I don't know. There's a big debate about that. I mean, personally, I'd rather have Kudus purely because Bowen's best work for the club has been on the right, cutting in onto his left. And for me, why are you going to take him away from his strength? Why are you going to take him away from his strength? So I hope Lopetegui, for the Chelsea game, has second thoughts about starting Antonio. I really, really do. It'll be a shame because we saw it under Moyes. Antonio became a bit of a figure of hate in many circles, right? But it's not his fault. If he's asked to play, he's playing. And I see people say, like, oh, he shouldn't be playing for Jamaica. Listen, we've got no right at all to say whether a player should or shouldn't represent his country. I'm sorry. I disagree with anyone saying that he shouldn't be playing for his country. They get loads of money. Yes, they do. They're in the Premier League. They live a great lifestyle. But why should we be telling them if they can play for their country or not? I agree. It's putting a strain on him. But we can't do that. So for me, Ings has to start if he wants an orthodox 9. I don't think he will, however. Souček needs to be shown the door. And we need to bring Pack in or Soler or something needs to give there as well. It's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer. You know, the City game, we came away from that happy with the effort and the endeavour. And people have watched the Fulham game and gone, well, why have we reverted back to that? I don't know. I just hope it's a blip on the copybook of Lopetegui at West Ham. But I'm not going to be calling for his head. And people need to give him time. I don't care if you disagree with me or not. You need to give him time. I'm not spot on. I'm not saying he's going to be successful. But we don't know until the guy's given time. And calling for his head, in my opinion, is, it's not great. It's not great. We've got another problem, obviously, at left back, didn't we? I mean, Cresswell was back on the bench, but he's not fully fit. And when asked about Emerson's injury, Lopetegui was a little bit vague, but he seemed to allude to the fact that it was more of an impact injury on his knee. And the good thing with that is that impact injuries, you know, they can heal very quickly, a couple of days worth of treatment, and he could be fit for the Chelsea game. If it was a twist or a tear, obviously, you know, there'd be no chance. But as it's an impact injury, it could well be that Emerson will be back for that. You can't throw Cresswell in against Chelsea, because as much as they're an absolute circus of a club, they've got some lightning quick players. And you know, I just think you've got to, I don't know, Wan-Bissaka even at left back, I suppose. Worst case scenario, Soufal right. But anyway, so that's my take on all things West Ham at the minute. I mean, let's not be like Spurs fans, let's be a bit more, we can be honest in game and with decisions and starting lineups, but let's not be calling for his head already. So if you've got any questions or anything you want to say, put it in the chat. I'm going to go back a little bit through the chat. I can't go back all the way through purely because I ain't got time. I've got to earn some money. Right, here we go. Sam Oakes says Bowen isn't a possession-based player. Yes, Sam Oakes, Claret and Booze, extra time presenter extraordinaire. A lot of people do say this. Bowen prefers to play on the counter-attack. Yeah, possibly. Maybe that's why we ain't seen the best of him yet under Lopetegui. But he's been involved in, 4 or 5 goals. So, you know, he ain't doing so bad. Bowen and Kudus should just rotate. Yes, I agree, Jamie. You know, I always feel that the best teams, the best players, they can change. You know, there's an element of fluidity around it, you know. And I think they can interchange with the false 9 even, you know. You could have Paqueta, Kudus and Bowen. They change, you know, that would drive fullbacks mental, because the player that they're picking up 1 minute is not the player they're picking up 30 seconds later. So for me, I agree. To be honest, Ings cannot outrun Mrs. Doubtfire. Paul, I'm not saying he's Usain Bolt, and I agree with you. He's not going to be chasing balls down the line. But if you play and put balls in the box, he's your man for me. Imagine Ings and Fulkrug play together. Will be plenty of goals for us. Possibly, but I can't see that happening, if I'm honest with you, Darren. Ben H. Wingers aren't getting quality balls in the box. Do that and Fulkrug will get on the end of them. Yeah, great point. I've said this with Fulkrug. His strength is not only in the air, but, you know, it's one of his strengths. And if you're not going to get balls in the box, you're not going to get crosses in, then you ain't going to get much option to score, is it? Let's be honest. The midfield have to make runs for the wingers. Of course, there's a lot of fluidity has to go through the team. Gary Gold, how much time, though? I'm guessing you're talking about Lopetegui, you know, how much time to give him. Look, we're not going to get relegated, so you have to give him a full season, in my opinion. Unless, worst case scenario, we get to December and we're in the bottom 3, then, you know. Darren Potter, play 3 at the back, 5 in midfield. Great point. We've got an abundance of top quality midfielders now. And I could quite easily see that working. 3-5-1-1, 3-5-2. I don't know. But yeah, I don't disagree with that, mate. And possibly against Chelsea as well. Sheriff, West Ham United, says he reckons he's been watching us for a couple of seasons. Bollocks! He ain't watched shit. Or he would know about Antonio after international games, etc., etc. Full of shit, just a good salesman. Well, yes, I get what you're saying. Another manager who probably didn't have to say what he said really when he said that, because when you say something like that, it's putting you on the back burner straight away, innit? Like people are waiting for you to slip up. And just a good salesman. Well, I saw a comment on the video the other day that Nick and the lads did, and basically people were saying, or someone said, I think it was Words and Pictures, you know, players and managers, they're only here to promote themselves, they're only here to get better opportunities. unfortunately, for a lot of players, we are a stepping stone. You know, whether we like it or not. Every player, every manager wants to get to the top. Are we the top? I don't know. Virgil, can you see Ings and Fulkrug up front? I can see what you're getting at, big man, little man scenario, but I can't see Lopetegui playing to that, if I'm honest with you, mate. No, I can't. Paul Lyon says, Virgil, our midfield isn't creative enough. Look at the top four teams. Their holding midfield are all ball players. Yeah, I get it. I mean, I know Soler's got a bit of creativity in him, and I think Alvarez can thread a pass through the lines. Yeah, I know what you mean, but look, we can't compare our midfield to, in my opinion, sorry to say, we can't compare our midfield to Man City's, Arsenal's. We're not there yet, you know? But yeah, I get what you're saying. I totally do. Tom Ridgway, had we sent Souček to Forest, they would have been bottom of the league by now. He is a fucking liability. Go ask the fans of the Czech national team what they think of One-Leg Thomas. I thought he won Czech Player of the Year, though, didn't he? Not really sure. Randy Burstagler says, also, he's opened himself up to criticism on very basic mistakes. I want to back him and give him time, but he carries on doing the same mistakes, then fans should question him. Yeah, totally agree. And this is the point. He's making a rod for his own back, you know? Keep him playing with them players, picking Souček, etc. Like I said with the interview coming out and saying he's been watching us for 2 years, just, you know, Ronan Keating said, you'll say it best when you say nothing at all. Just be quiet. Fortune siding down under. Ryan, hello, mate. I can see us turning Chelsea over this weekend. I can, mate. They've been poor. They were lucky to get the win against Bournemouth. Bournemouth hit the woodwork, I think, 3 times. They're a circus at the minute. We need to get into them. And I think we will. I think he will make changes, you know, after that. Michael Arkle says, under Loppy Bollocks, Soppy Bollocks, Loppy Bollocks, we will be in a relegation fight by Christmas. I don't think so, mate. I think we are, you know, all right, we've got 4 points from 12. It ain't brilliant. It ain't the worst. We'll be all right, mate. Come on, bit of faith, yeah? Bit of faith. Randy Burstagler again. Lopetegui needs to stop this obsession with last season's players and pick the strongest lineup. Agreed, mate. We've brought these players in. You want to see them thrown in, of course. Great lunchtime chat. Back to work. Well done. We all thought the same in the Fulham game. Shut up. Darren Potter, Virgil, how's work, mate? And think we can do Chelsea. What do you think the score will be? Don't worry about work. What are you, HMRC? Yeah, work's all right, mate. I think we can beat Chelsea. I really do. I really do, mate. I mean, Chelsea ain't what they were. They're not a fucking superpower, are they? So, yeah. Anyway, look, I'm going to have to get back. Mrs. is cracking the whip. We're going away at the weekend. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like button. Otherwise, I'll have Nick on my back. If you ain't already subscribed, do so. And don't forget to watch Claret and Booze Extra Time. It's 2 jokers think they're as good as me, but they're not. Let's be honest. And a big shout out to Dave, the cabbie, who I met on the rank at Euston today and said he loves the show. But as you are aware, and most of you know is true, I'm the special one on the show. Thank you very much. I need a shave. Adios, amigo.